Hey, how is everybody? So good to see everyone. This is the pre-read. I am just adjusting the lights and the settings and everything, trying to, a little too low, a little too low. Let's see if we hit this one. There we go. We're starting to bring it together. How's everybody feeling tonight? Let's see. Who do I see? I see Angel Monique. Let me check my, just want to go ahead and check my levels right quick. Microphone check. 1, 2. What is this? The 5-foot assassin with the roughneck business. I float like gravity, never had a cavity. Got more rhymes than the wine has got family. No need to sweat Arsenio to get some type of fame. No shame in my game because I'll always be the same. Styles upon styles is what I have. You want to diss the fifer, but you still don't know the half. I sport New Balance sneakers to avoid a narrow path. Mess around and catch that size 10.5. He had very small feet. All right, let's see. I see Angel Monique. I see Latricia Ransom. I see Terry Meredith and Judy Lee. I see Kamisha Umstead. I see Erica Yolita, who is masquerading under the name Erica Goodman over on YouTube. For those of you all who prefer just the pure storytime reading experience and are not necessarily inclined to participate in the ongoing scrolling discussion, YouTube might be a better option for you. And you can find us over on youtube.com/storytime with Julian. Real easy to remember. Even if the Facebook experience is still your preferred, I would encourage you to sign up to YouTube. Now, I have not, as of yet, uploaded the newer materials that are going to be there, but they're coming, and there's going to be stuff that you'll see on YouTube that you won't see other places. So I would encourage you to to get with that YouTube program. Let's see, who else do I see? I see Homie Lou. I see Darina Turner. Let's see. 10.5 is a small foot. Yes, I'm 12.5 at my smallest, 13 normally, and even, I mean, these days the way they making these millennial kids, like 15s and 16s, is just running amok. So yeah, 10.5 is a small foot. Can we get everyone to just go over to YouTube and like the videos, please? Actually, yeah, why not? I am requesting that. If you're a fan of this program, go ahead and when you get the opportunity, and now would be a good time since this is just a pre-read, I encourage you to go over to YouTube and just watch and like the videos. It actually helps boost us, and I have it on good authority that there are some folks watching us. There are some folks that are checking for us in a positive way. And so the more of a showing we can make over on the U of Tubes, the better it'll be overall. I have made, sorry, I'm a little away from the mic. I have made no secrets and no bones about the fact that it is my intention to grow this platform as much as possible. And your active participation is what will help that happen, probably more than anything. I mean, hold on, one more change here. Let's see. Okay, that's a little bit more comfortable for me. Trying to get the light level to a place where it makes sense for reading, but it also doesn't have as much of a glare, and also doesn't interrupt the overall purple pink flow that we try to keep going. What to talk about? I mean, heard any good news lately? I am, as I'm sure all of you are, or most of you are, I would hope all of you, am considerably relieved to know that we elected a new president. We have a new president-elect. The fight is far from over. And I mean that in two ways. One, the fight is far from over because until the current asshat in the Oval concedes, he's got the options to create some really considerable problems. I don't think it'll come to that, But then again, what have we ever been able to put past him? But I also mean that the fight is not over, in as much as just because we have someone less terrible occupying the office does not mean that we can count on them to do what's right. And when I say what's right, I mean specifically what's right for Black folk. That's what I mean. Now, I was encouraged, and I don't know how many of you paid attention to his acceptance speech. I was encouraged to hear him acknowledge that it was the Black vote that put him over the top, that got him in office. I was encouraged to hear him say, quote, "You had my back and I will have yours." It was encouraging to hear. I honestly do not think I've ever heard a president acknowledge Black Americans so directly in their acceptance. Even Obama spoke very quickly about being the president for everybody, and that felt more like acknowledging Blackness in a way to, kind of disavow it to a certain extent. So it was encouraging to hear Biden say that. It was encouraging to hear him say, to call out systemic racism, specifically, to use the words. Now, on one hand, the cynic in me wants to say, words are just words. But on the other hand, I've had 2 podcasts and currently hosting a show that is all about the love for, the respect for, the appreciation of the power of words. So I can't, in one hand, say words are powerful, but I can, but then disavow them and say they're just words. Words are powerful. Actions that line up with words are more powerful. And that is, of course, what I look to see. But I was encouraged by that. None of that, of course, really changes what we're doing here. This is just kind of the pre-show banter to get us started. Also, just making sure that I can gauge how far I can turn from the mic before I lose sound. And it looks like this is it. That's the angle. Once I hit this, I lose sound. Now, we've got about 20 minutes before the official show time. I'm probably going to wrap this up within 15, especially since I hear, wow, this picks up everything, especially since I hear Don Cheadle making his way to this side of the door. He's going to want to spend his time there. We are a third of the way through November already, and it feels like I'm just starting November. Everything was really on hold. Everything was on pause while, well, there were some upheavals going on around here, personal stuff, nothing that needs to be talked about in broadcast. But in addition to that, there was, of course, the wait for the election results and the tension around that. And for those of you who know my fascination with American politics and the theater of politics, you can imagine just how much that was taking up room in my mind and in my spirit, and the stress levels that I was holding on to. In addition to that, there was preparation for my mother's birthday, which ended up being a rather simple affair, but with my mother being who she is and the circumstances of her well-being, even simple affairs take a little bit of effort. So in order for us to have made that simple affair happen, there was a lot that needed to be done. And for those of you, and I see a lot of your names here, who responded to the call to make her phone make some noise with Cash App on her birthday, and I had asked for 75 people to donate exactly $1. Some of you were notoriously and beautifully and graciously hard-headed and did more than that to varying degrees. And I cannot tell you the delight that it was for my mom all day long, literally all day long. And every time she heard the sound, she go, woo, And it was for her, it wasn't about the money. It was a tacit acknowledgement that people were thinking about her, that people loved her, that people cared about her, and that care was being expressed in real time in a tangible way. Now, in birthdays past and on other occasions past, you all have left various messages and notes and videos. And at the end of the day, I would go through all of them with her and she would sit and just be delighted. But here, this time around, she had an opportunity to, at the point of I want to say point of contact, but that's not really what I mean. But at exactly the point of interaction, she knew that sound meant somebody was thinking about her. That sound meant somebody was saying, I love you, saying happy birthday, saying, go ahead with your royal flyness and some of the other various messages. Even though I had to read the messages to her later, the sound kept telling her. And she was so delighted by that. And I just want to thank everybody who was a part of making that happen. Um, I am looking forward to sharing with you some of the work that we've been doing. It's been going very slow, I'm not going to lie, but we've been working on her biography, her autobiography, I guess, um, which she has called Evictions, um, which I think is a really special title. And having already worked on the forward for that, um, with kind of the explanation for it, I think is kind of spectacular. Um, this is a much more gut wrenching work than I expected it to be. My mother, her entire life, has been a notoriously private person, and in telling these stories and giving me the details to help flesh out and write these stories, she has been so much open, more open even than she's been with me my entire life. And all we've ever had is each other. And I have always thought that I knew her story. And I'm finding that even with as much of her story that I've known, there's still so much more that I've never known. And there may well be more of her story that I will never know. Even with as open and as forthright as she's been with this process. And it has been a very exciting and engaging and out of the corner of my eye, I'm now seeing Terry Meredith noting the beans. She is a bean counter. Uh, uh, mm. But yeah, this has been it's some kind of ride. It's some kind of ride. Let me check the time one more. Okay, we're at about 9:46. So I'm gonna wrap it up fairly soon. What else did I want to tell you all though? Oh, duh. I can't believe that I'm not talking about this. Let's go ahead and switch this up right quick. Because what I really want to talk about, and I don't know how to make this come on. All right, hold on a second. I'm gonna take myself out of the broadcast for a moment so that I can make it do what it do. Uh-oh. Well, I hope you all can see. Okay, so I wanted to show that for a moment because the exciting thing that we are going to be doing on November 19th at 10 p.m. is wordplay. This is a creation of my own. It's something that was obviously inspired by Verses this summer, the sensation that I think really did so much to unify us and get us to bond and really appreciate and acknowledge some of our great artists of, the past and the present, and to really kind of take a journey through our story in music. And what was exciting to me about that was getting a chance to see talent of a similar vein that sort of worked in similar spaces appreciate one another's work and talk about one another's work. And sometimes it was more successful than others. I think the most successful, in my opinion, was Jill Scott and Erica Badu. I think the ladies took it to a much higher level. I think one of the least successful in terms of a connection between the two artists was probably Ludacris and Nelly. Um, that was at times hard to watch, actually. But what it inspired for me was the opportunity. Um, what it inspired was the idea of having the opportunity to see some authors who kind of work in similar veins. And through this wonderful experience hosting Storytime, I've been able to encounter so many different authors in this brief short of time, this brief and short span of time, and kind of compare their styles. It's a little bit, we've got a little bit of a comparative lit class going here, a little bit. um, I'm a shit ass professor, but we've got a nice little class experience here where we are comparing these different styles and forms of literature throughout the African diaspora, and throughout all of these different genres. And so, having been fortunate enough to have Nana Kwame Adjei and Rian Amilcar Scott be present and actually show up for the show, I thought, let's start with them. Now, I have designs on a few other authors, and we have put together a plan, and we are making our approaches little by little. I think this one is going to be really the litmus test. It's going to be the one that, for the writers who are like, I don't know, maybe when they see this one, I think the way that this pops off is going to be the thing that gets other writers to say, "Oh, I want to do that. I got to do this next." But it's going to be hot. Both authors have submitted their pieces to me, so I have those. Now we're going to do this a little bit differently. Those pieces are going to be pre-recorded, and we're just going to cue them up and play them based on which ones they say. Okay, I want to do this one now. But yeah, they've got their playlist ready. We've been in communication. It's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. So please, ma'am, please, sir. Um, Mark your calendar, November 19th, 10 p.m. That is a Thursday. That is the week before Thanksgiving. Let's come and get fed a different kind of way before we get fed that big way that next week. All right. Mark your calendar, tell your friends. The flyer is posted on Storytime with Julian. It's on the page. Please go to the page and share that flyer. Share it like mad. Make sure that the people in your circle know that this is about to happen, because this is going to be dope. It really is. Also, next week, or maybe Thursday. No, next week. Yeah, I had to think about that. I'll be unveiling the promo codes and the website, because we have two literary partners. That's Harriet's Bookstore and no, I'm sorry, it's Harriet's Bookshop and Loyalty Bookstores. Have both agreed to make the books of these authors available at discount for attendees of the event. I think Harriet has an entire web page set up specifically for us, um, for you to purchase the books at discount. I think with Loyalty there is a code, but either way, if you haven't yet purchased these books, hold on a minute, wait a little bit, and you'll be able to get them at a little discount. From being a part of this story time. And that is about it, folks. This is the end of the pre-read. I am Julian of Storytime with Julian, and I will catch you on the other side for that show, which will begin at 10 p.m. Thanks so much for swinging by. Appreciate you, and peace. Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is Story Time with Julian. I am Julian, and it is Tuesday, November the 10th. And today we're going to be cracking the spine on two brand new books here for Story Time with Julian. We're going to be opening up In the Not Quite Dark Stories by Dana Johnson and The Awkward Black Man by Walter Mosley. I'm excited about both of these books. One, because The Awkward Black Man, I think, is just a really interesting title, and Walter Mosley is, of course, an acclaimed and very prolific author. I have not dived into his works before. I'm familiar with them. I mean, I think it's one of those kinds of names that you always hear, but you know, for whatever reason, you might not have given that author a particular chance. So I'm really excited to get into that. And In the Not Quite Dark, having flipped through it, I again haven't read, so these are going to be cold reads as always. But having flipped through it, just looks really engaging. Some of the feedback from other authors, you know, authors will often submit their work to one another to get blurbs and comments, and some of the feedback from the other authors has been really encouraging. One of my favorites was, let me see if I can find it really quickly. It's and these now, I should be clear, this is not feedback about this particular book. These pieces of feedback were about one of her other books, Elsewhere, California. Matt Johnson, the author of Pym, writes, I am in love with a woman named Avery, and I have only heard her voice. She exists in these pages, radiates from them. Dana Johnson weaves the complex strings of modern identity into a tapestry that is both familiar yet I can say that word. I can. Yet refreshingly new. Dana Johnson's Elsewhere, California is a clear-eyed jam on class, race, and love, sassy yet searing. So I feel like if that's what she's doing in Elsewhere, California, in the Not Quite Dark, this collection of short stories is probably going to have some of that same spirit and energy to it. So here's hoping that she keeps that same energy. But let me show you the cover of the book. Let the autofocus go. There we go. In the Not Quite Dark. And look at that cover. Isn't that interesting? I've always loved old houses and hotels that have what I like to call the diamond ring doorknobs, those big, heavy glass doorknobs that create those sort of prismatic patterns when the light shines through them. So I'm really, really fond of this. We are going to break into this book, not with the first story, but we're going to skip a few stories in to a story called Sunshine. It looked like it was about the right page length. I liked the title. I glanced through the first few pages of it. It seemed interesting. And I said, I want to read this with my people. So for those of you who all are here, we're going to go ahead and get started with Dana Johnson's Sunshine from In the Not Quite Dark. For their anniversaries, other women get what? Like a box of chocolate and roses if you got a boring boyfriend, or dinner at the Olive Garden or someplace if the guy's half trying, a stuffed animal, or even jewelry if he's for real, not no cheap bastard. Something. Me, I get something else, not even close. I get Bobby coming home from work a few weeks before telling me somebody there at the gym has a crush on me. He was all excited, grinning like he had new teeth and wanted to show them off. I didn't get what he was up to. Not because I wasn't hella smart. I was. Bobby admitted that one time after we did it for an hour in the desert in Palmdale somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I'd taken this astronomy class at LA City College because I had a lot of time on my hands and I was learning about a lot about stars and stuff. I told Bobby about how all the stars were just distant suns and the sun we saw in the daytime was just the largest of all the suns, of all of 100 billion suns at least, the largest object in our whole big crazy solar system. He squeezed me really hard. Damn, you smart, he said. Bobby waited till I gave him a big sunshine smile, and then he said, but everybody ain't perfect. Ha, I'd said. But lately I was hardly smart enough to know what he was up to anymore, because since his brother had died, Bobby treated everything like a big hurry. He didn't take his time for anything. Or When he did, it was like he forgot why he was taking the time in the first place. He was treating life like something he wanted to get over with, to do, but not to see. He was still grinning at me about this crush, so I asked him, "What? You glad some man at your work wanting me? That don't sound like you, Bobby." What sounded like Bobby was jealousy. He made me quit stripping because of it. I put my hand on his forehead and he slapped it back down. "Quit playing with the smart ass comments." He ran his hand all the way through his black wavy hair and stared at me. He was dyeing it because he was only 36 and going gray. I stared back. "So, who's this guy?" All this time, Bobby was standing in front of me in his favorite gray sweatsuit. He unzipped his jacket, tossed it on the futon, and started making his way to the kitchen to cook. "You thaw that chicken like I told you?" "It's in the sink." "Is it that Furio guy, the actor guy?" He worked out at the gym and was always giving me the eye. "Please," Bobby said. "Where the fuck's the olives? I was gonna make cacciatore." "Ate them." "Okay, big ass," Bobby said. That's the last thing you should be eating. A whole goddamn can?" He shook his head. "I'm just gonna broil this then. What else you eat up in here?" Bobby Cantalupus was militant about cooking. Hold on, I don't think I got that name right. Let's run that back. Bobby Cantadolopoulos. Okay. Bobby Cantadolopoulos was militant about cooking, his kitchen, food, and me involved with any of these things. I'd moved in with him in his apartment, and it always felt that way, like his. "Who's got the crush on me, Bobby? I'm tired of waiting for you to tell me." I just knew it was some nasty dude. Otherwise, Bobby wouldn't think it was so damn funny. "What's his name?" Bobby was washing the chicken and was seasoning it. He looked up at me, mouth serious, eyes cracking up. "Amber." "Amber? Amber?" I repeated. Bobby got me to thinking. "Is that transsexual dude? The one who just came back with all the changes?" "Uh-uh," Bobby said. "Amber," I said again. I watched Bobby chop onion and crush garlic. "Is this dude like Irish or something? Got one of them names that sounds like a lady, like Carol or Adrian, like that?" "Nope," Bobby said. "And who ever heard of a guy named Amber?" Bobby poured olive oil in the pan and stirred the onion and garlic. I was hungry. We eating rice with that?" "No, we ain't," Bobby said. He was policing my weight more since I quit stripping. I wasn't doing a lot of exercising no more. "Broccoli for you, rice for me." "Fuck," I said. "Watch it, tough guy. Keep that filth out of your mouth." I rolled my eyes. "So who, Bobby? I practically don't give a shit anymore." He gave me the eyebrows and then swatted me on the ass. "What'd I tell you?" I leaned on the counter with my arms crossed, pouting. Bobby tap danced on my nerves sometimes. He concentrated on browning the chicken, stirring it around and staring at it like it was his life's work. Finally, he said, "Remember that thing I did down in Mexico last year with the 4 girls?" "Yeah," I said slow. "That was before me and Bobby were together. When he was just starting to do porn, it didn't matter to me. The porn on the side of training folk at the gym. I'm just saying, Mexico was a long time ago, at least a year." Telling me about it when we first met, Bobby bragged that he made $800 just to go down to Mexico to be with a bunch of women. I thought $800 was a bit cheap to have your life out there, floating around forever and ever. But he said he would have been with all those women for free. "I guess," I'd said. And Bobby'd said that was the trouble with me. I never opened my eyes to see the bigger picture. But now I was trying. "What's Mexico got to do with all that?" Before Bobby could answer, I got a picture in my head of this blonde woman he was always talking about, like something he missed, like his mother's home-baked cookies, waiting for him after school on a rainy day. "Amber," I said. I sucked my teeth and rolled my eyes at Bobby. She had blown him in this other video he did. "Yeah, right? The blonde with the tiny waist and the lips?" He tore his eyes away from the chicken long enough to bite down hard on his fist. "Fucking A," he said. "If you want to call those lips," I said. "They look like life rafts. A little collagen goes a long way. You should tell her that." "You're one to talk," Bobby said. He motioned a finger and then tapped his lips so I could come to him and kiss him. I stood where I was. On me, it looks normal. You ever see a black girl with thin lips? No, you ain't, I said. What are you going to do? He said and shrugged, like some things you just can't help. He finally stopped babying his chicken, mixed everything together, and put it in the broiler. When he straightened up, he stretched out his arms and wiggled his fingers. What'd I tell you? Get over here and give me a kiss. I was getting worked up. No. And what's so great about her ass? Nice and big. But you keep telling me that mine's getting too big. What's up with that? Since when did big mean gigantic, huh? Answer me that, whole can of olives. Because I was hugging myself and wouldn't come to him, Bobby came to me and put his arms around my waist. I'm just breaking your balls, you know that, right? He kissed me and held me close, so tight I felt wrapped up completely. His hands traveled down my waist and under my ass. I'm just giving you a hard time. I might even let you eat some rice if you go to the gym tomorrow. Get on the treadmill. I laughed, waiting for Bobby to say, just kidding, but he didn't. Late in the night when I was trying to fall asleep, Bobby wouldn't shut up about Amber. What if she hit on me? Would I do her? Did I think she was sort of cute? Would I do it just for him even? Just for fun? What was the big deal? It wasn't like he was asking me to be with another man. What did I think? I told him that I thought he was a sex fiend, but if he wanted to be nice to me, I just might. And finally he shut up, which was all I wanted. In bed with Bobby when it was quiet was the only time I could talk to him about serious things. So I asked him how his mother was doing with Louis being gone. It had only been 3 months. How do you think she's doing? He said. And then I didn't hear anything else from him. We just lay there in the dark. Before long, he was snoring, holding on to me tight, his left arm lying across my body like a weight. This threesome thing seemed to come out of nowhere. But Bobby did seem restless, a little wilder since his brother died. Bobby says I'm full of shit when I say he changed after his brother got killed. But how could he not? Louis was his heart, a younger version of Bobby, a nice kid with a big mouth. Louis took to calling me Sunshine, just like Bobby. Some asshole shot him at the ATM and only got $40 off him. I was there when Bobby got the phone call from his father. Bobby had just gotten off of me. We were happy, wiped out. When the phone rang, he got up, went to the phone, and stood there naked. We had 2 candles burning and the moon was so bright that we didn't even need them. And Bobby was so beautiful to me. The curves of his muscles, hard and rocky with smooth, shiny skin from the sweat on his body. I don't remember what Bobby said, if he said anything, into the phone. He just fell to his knees and dropped the phone. His daddy was hollering, "Bobby! Bobby!" in a tiny cartoon voice coming from the phone. But Bobby was curled up in a ball with his eyes squeezed shut and his mouth wide open. Nothing coming out. When I went to him, Bobby grabbed me and held on to me so hard, I thought he was going to crush something inside me. I knew his kid brother was dead. Nobody had to tell me nothing. When I tried to get out of going to the funeral with Bobby because his family was always asking if he was still dating me, the black carriola, and did he think he was fucking Greek Robert De Niro with the black chicks every time they turned around? Bobby told me, "LaDonna, fuck them. I need you there." I asked him what carriola meant, and he told me, "Never mind, it ain't nice." At the funeral, Bobby held my hand tight and leaned forward in his chair while they dropped dirt onto the casket. Then they lowered the casket into the grave. Bobby didn't really cry until then. And later he told me it was because his brother was deep in the dirt, covered with dirt, and was going to turn into dirt. I told Bobby that Louis wasn't in the casket. Louis's body was there, covered in the dirt. But the Louis that Bobby loved, his spirit, was with us and the whole world. Bobby told me to shut up and kiss me on the forehead, so I knew I made him feel better, some kind of way. "That's why I love you, Donna," he said. He took my hand. "You know how to take care of me, sunshine." Now Bobby was snoring even louder. His mouth opened just a little bit. I turned my head to kiss him on the lips. They felt soft, and I wanted to wake him up. And I wanted him to wake up and make love to me. I kissed him again and played with the black waves of his hair, but he didn't feel a thing. He just kept right on sleeping. Bobby worked out and trained at Gold's Gym off Santa Monica Boulevard. Sometimes famous people worked out there, like I care. One time, though, Bobby almost broke his neck in 3 places trying to get a look at some skinny model bitch, and that pissed me off. Kind of wish he had broken something. Getting to the gym was the same routine every time. It took 1,000 stoplights to get down Santa Monica, park the car, give the homeless guy in the parking lot a couple of bucks for wiping down Bobby's Mustang. Bobby, how you doing, everybody? Me wishing I was at Zenko Chicken eating a drumstick. When we walked in, Bobby gave me the regimen. Cardio. You got to hit the ab machine, no doubt. And after that, some lunges. He raised his voice over the techno crap they were playing, and he looked around the gym, scanning the joint like he was looking for someone. This really, really sucks, I said. What? Bobby wasn't paying attention. He was looking around the gym. If you hadn't made me quit dancing, I would still be lean. I made sure I said it right in his ear so he could hear me over the bass and the noise from all the clinking weights and machines. Lean, Bobby said. You a lot of things, baby, but better cross lean off the list. He laughed. He was cracking himself up. I got an appointment, he said. See you about an hour. When Bobby walked away, I couldn't help but notice that he did look good in his wife-beater tank top against his tan skin, from the tanning salon, but still. That's why I put up with him, I thought. That, and he always looked out for me, was always on my side. I told myself that he had me at the gym for my health, for my own good. Plus once, and only once, he told me that I was so fine he didn't need to do nothing to make himself look good. I did it for him. I found a Stairmaster and stepped on it, bored off my ass after 2 steps. I pushed the button that made the machine go faster, but not too fast. I daydreamed that I was at the club I used to dance at, the 8 Ball, where I met Bobby. Those were the good days. I missed the girls, and I missed the money. I worked there when I wanted to work, doing what I wanted to do. I didn't have to do any of that gym shit. Somebody was talking to me. Amber. It's better if you lower the resistance, if you're just wanting definition. You don't want to cover your body with a lot of muscle, she said in a soft, clear voice. She sounded like a therapist. Yeah, I said. I gave her a half smile, a polite now you can go smile. She didn't seem to catch what I was doing, though. She stretched some, then she got on the Stairmaster next to mine. She was wearing one of those I'm at the gym to be looked at outfits, cute and strappy. Whenever I tried to wear something like that, Bobby told me to put some clothes on. She worked out on the machine next to me, taking cute little baby steps and swinging her white blonde ponytail around. Everything about her was slight and golden tanned. If somebody was looking for the opposite of me, they would have pointed out Amber in a heartbeat. What was the matter with Bobby? The whole time I was working out, she kept looking at me out of the corner of her eye, making me nervous. I never knew no woman who had a crush on me before. I didn't know how I felt about it. I ignored Amber until Bobby came up behind me and told me to stop leaning. That was cheating, he said. It wasn't good to cheat. Made the whole workout easier. Just pretend you're on the stairway to heaven, baby, he said, and I'm up there waiting for you. I swear Bobby thought he was a regular actor, a porn actor, a trainer, and a comedian. LaDonna can cheat, Amber said. My name sounded funny coming out of her mouth. She stopped stepping and looked me up and down. She doesn't even need to work out. Right, Bobby said slowly. Uh-huh. LaDonna has the most beautiful body in the world, and face too, Amber said. She winked at me. Tiny fucking world, eh? Bobby said. Yeah? Right? He looked at Amber for a laugh, but she didn't give it to him. I'm just kidding, baby, he said. He popped me on the ass. Then why'd you say it? Amber asked him. Come on, Bobby said. Donna knows I'm joking, right, baby? I gave Bobby my fuck you eyes. I was kind of pissed at both of them for talking like I wasn't there. Anyway, it's not a tiny world. It's a big, big world, Bobby, Amber said. She stared at me. A whole universe. Bobby looked at Amber and then at me. You want we should get some lunch? Maybe I could make us something at the house. I got a bottle of wine, too. He put on the sweet and innocent face. I got loose with wine, Bobby knew. He looked back and forth at me and Amber. I've got a previous engagement, Amber said. Engagement sounded like she'd added loser to the end of it. Bobby just hadn't paid attention. But, LaDonna, she pulled the band from her ponytail and shook her hair out. Maybe if we're around here together sometime, we could have a coffee or something. That sounds good, Bobby said. But Amber ignored him and touched my hand. Nice talking to you, she said. Be good, Bobby said. And then she gave him the smile I'd given to her earlier. Now go away. There was going to be what they called an annular eclipse, my astronomy teacher said. On Bobby's and my anniversary, this was going to happen. Professor Salazar spent a whole class period talking about how annular eclipses come once every couple of years or so and only happen when the moon passes right in front of the sun. But it's not able to cover the sun the whole way because the moon looks smaller than the sun. I thought that was all pretty cool. Stuff I hadn't really thought about. I was trying to tell Bobby all this when we were sitting in front of the TV, watching some dating show where one person goes on a date with a bunch of people and has to get rid of them one by one until they end up the person they really want. And you know what else, Bobby? I learned something else. The moon? I looked over at him to make sure he was still listening. He didn't seem to be, but I kept talking anyway. The moon? It's this, like, cold, rocky ball of stuff. Doesn't have its own light coming from it. You know why the moon looks so bright at night, Bobby? Why? He pulled me to him and started twirling one of my braids in his fingers. Can you believe this? The moron's going to pick the short girl. The one with the mouth on her, always talking all the time. They ought to let me on the show. He blew out some air, disgusted. I snuggled up against Bobby and rubbed his belly under his shirt. That's nice, he said. Keep doing that. I was telling you about the moon, I whispered, and I kissed him on the soft part underneath his armpit. Bobby got still when I did that. What about it? His voice was soft and low way down in his throat. I learned that the reason that the moon looks so bright is because of the sun. We wouldn't even see the moon if it wasn't for the sun. Fascinating, Bobby said. He undid the top button of his jeans and waited for me to do the rest. Amber always seemed to find me at the gym. This time I was just finishing my workout when she came up to me. I was sweating so much I'd looked like I'd just gotten hosed down. I walked real slow on the treadmill and slowed down the speed until I was barely walking. When Amber walked up to me, she said, I hate the treadmill. I'm so bored when I do it. It's like I'm not even there. Mm-hmm, I said. And then, because I sounded like a bitch to my own ears, I said, you look like you hardly ever need to do anything in the first place. It seemed like a nice thing to say. I thought she was too skinny to tell the truth. She smiled and looked at me. She had those huge blue Barbie doll looking eyes. A lot of her was Barbie doll looking. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying. I like your body better, she said. I'd kill for your ass. That was nice, what she said. I finally smiled at her for real. Yeah, well, tell Bobby that. I did. I pretended I didn't hear her. Bobby, she said after a second, like, please. He shouldn't have to be told something so obvious. I didn't like her talking about Bobby with that tone, but still, what she said had a ring of truth to it. Listen, Amber said. She had a nice voice, soft but sure of herself. Would you like, I would love it if we could maybe grab a bite to eat. I looked around the gym. With Bobby? No, not with Bobby. Oh, I said. I felt funny. The thing was, Amber was okay and all that. Even if she looked fake, she wasn't. There was something down home about her. Never thought I'd say that. I talked trash about her for the longest, but a couple of days before I saw her do something. She'd gotten in this big dude's face about leaving the Stairmaster all sweaty and disgusting. Did he think his mother was going to come clean up this filth? She'd asked. Or did he expect one of the other women to clean his shit before we got to do our own workouts? He'd called her a bitch, but he'd wiped it off like she'd asked. Amber wasn't playing with that fool. I liked that. Lunch with her was something different, though. I don't know, I said. Maybe next time. I kind of want to get home. I did want to get home, even though I didn't really have anything to do once I got there. I just kept seeing Bobby's face, cheesing it up, ecstatic that Amber and I were going to lunch, like he was one number away from winning the lottery. Oh, she said. Okay. She stared at me some more, but looked down at her shoes after a second. When she looked up again, she had a little half-hearted smile. Real soon, though, I said. Don't ask me why I did this, but I touched her shoulder. Next time, then, Amber said, and then she walked away. Next time sounded like a contract. Later, at home, taking a shower, I turned on the radio real loud since Bobby wasn't home to have a fit about it. I played music to make me want to dance. Evelyn Champagne King. Champagne. I liked her attitude. Got to be real, got to be real. It was music that I used to dance to when I worked at the 8 Ball. Thinking about being real, Amber came to mind. Every time I saw her, I kept expecting her to get all giggly and white girl silly over Bobby, or just be slutty. Everybody else did. But she looked like she could take or leave Bobby, mostly leave and keep on stepping. That just made Bobby get even more stupid over her. Amber this and Amber that. I half wished she'd hit on Bobby so he'd shut up. Taking a shower was the best part of working out. I stood there and let the water massage my body, little warm needles with dull points. I started laughing out of nowhere because I remembered this time when me and Bobby decided to smoke some weed and drink about 2 bottles of red wine. Bobby had eaten food like it was going out of style, but I hadn't had a bite because I was trying to be all skinny and dainty and cute and shit. Bobby was on top of me, covering my whole body practically. He was being extra sweet, extra slow, saying my name in a voice I heard less and less lately. I was hypnotized. High, too. LaDonna, Bobby whispered, and he put his tongue in my ear. Right then, I got sick to my stomach. I jumped up. I had to balance myself on the edge of Bobby's futon's couch. Where's your bathroom? I moaned. What? Bobby was confused and hard. What's wrong with you? I don't feel too good, I said. Bobby only had a studio, so the bathroom was just 3 steps away. I thought I could make it. Bobby's apartment was practically all white or cream-colored. That was a shame. I did make it into the bathroom, but it didn't matter because I threw up red all over Bobby's clean white bathroom, all over his pomade and creams and 10 bottles of cologne. I stayed in there for what seemed like days and months and a lifetime before Bobby knocked and came in without an answer from me. I was on my knees, holding on to the toilet like it was my long-lost friend. To his credit, Bobby didn't say a word at first. He just looked at all the red covering every single thing in his bathroom. I hadn't known him long, but I already knew he was the kind of guy who turned a book back to the exact position it was before he picked it up from his table. Bobby only had 2 books in his house. His Way, Frank Sinatra's biography, and How to Train Your Dog. But still. Are you fucking kidding me? He said finally. You okay? What the hell? Yeah, I said. No. Let me look at you. Bobby pulled my braids from my face and grabbed a towel from the rack. He wiped all the vomit from my face. Can you stand up? Yeah. I lifted my head. There, I said. Fuck, Bobby said. He stood me up, leaned me on the sink, and started undressing me. You gotta get cleaned up. Let me clean you up. Somehow he got me in the shower, bathed me, dried me off, put a t-shirt and socks on me, laid me down on the bed, and pulled the covers over me. Before I passed out, I saw Bobby working in the bathroom with a mop and pail. The same bathroom I was standing in now. I had to remember that whenever I wanted to smack Bobby with him getting on me about everything and nothing at all. I turned off the shower, dried off, and looked at myself in the mirror. I thought I looked okay. Everything did except the tits. I'd gotten them done a couple of years ago when I thought I was supposed to look like all the other strippers with big tits, except I was big all over. I should have known that I'd never look like the skinny white girls unless I stopped eating, and fuck that. They never ended up feeling like a part of my body, these tits. They were from some other place. But maybe Bobby was right, and Amber was wrong. Bobby could fit a whole inch of my fat in between his fingers when he pinched me, and I didn't want to hear it. I could at least tighten up here and there, cut down. I ran out of creative ways to blow off Amber. Every time I saw her, she came at me asking to have a coffee or lunch, like it was the first time she'd asked me, like I hadn't said, "No, I can't," 5 times before. So we grabbed a coffee, because lunch seemed like getting in too deep. Once you start eating with somebody, it's hard to get away from them. If I couldn't stand her, I wanted to be able to get up out of there right quick. Having coffee with Amber made me nervous, like going out on a date. Small stuff was always on my mind, like who would get to the door of the coffee shop first and who would open it. Was she going to offer to pay for my latte? Was she going to offer to pay for my latte? But why would she, though, since it wasn't a date? Would I trip over my own feet? And was she checking out my body when I walked in front of her? Bobby mentioned the shape of it more than once. I'd never been nervous about no white girl before, and it felt weird to be jumpy and jittery. We walked around the corner to some small place, and she wouldn't let me pay for my own coffee. When I put my money down, she said, "Please let me." Hang on. Sorry, it just got really hard to see the book. "Please let me, for the pleasure of your company." And she smiled at me. She had 2 deep dimples in both cheeks that I'd never noticed before. She said, "Why don't you find a place for us to sit? I'll wait for the coffee and come to you." So that's what I did. My eyes skimmed over everybody reading their papers and typing on their laptops. In a minute, I saw that the coffees were ready, and she came over to me already talking. "Did you know that La Donna means the woman in Italian?" She slid into her chair and pushed my coffee toward me. The woman. Not even a. Like there are no other women. She grinned at me, showing teeth just as white and perfect as Bobby's. Then her lips closed over them real slow while she stared at me. No, I didn't know that it meant that in Italian. I think my mama just liked the way it sounded. I was having trouble looking her in the eye, so I looked around the cafe and stared at some other tiny white girl who was talking too loud on her cell phone about her doctor's appointment. "Don't you hate how everyone's always on their phone everywhere you go now?" Amber said, following my eyes. "Like we really want to hear about her shrink's advice or whatever she's talking about." "I know," I said, because it was all I could think to say. The other tiny woman The other tiny woman flipped her blonde ponytail and propped her feet up on the table. I thought about how she was making herself at home, taking up space and filling up everybody's ears, as small as she was. I thought about how my mama would smack me for putting my feet up on somebody's table, especially in public. She kept me in check, my mama. "I don't care if you are grown," she was always saying. Looked like nobody had ever checked this girl before in her life. "What does Amber mean?" I finally asked, hoping it would get her to stop staring at me so hard. "Well," she started, running her thin fingers down over her coffee cup, "I don't know what it means, but I know that amber is the stuff that comes from trees from like millions of years ago." "I know," I said. "It was this liquid that like oozed out of the trees and trapped all kinds of stuff in it, like twigs and bugs. All kinds of stuff it picked up along the way. It got hard and turned into stone." Amber's mouth was wide open, and she was squinting her eyes like she was having trouble seeing me. I just thought maybe amber meant something else. I don't know why I was thinking that. I kind of laughed at myself and took a sip of my coffee. Amber reached across the table and touched my wrist real light with just the tip of her finger. "Hey, I forgot. You probably know about all this kind of stuff. You're always reading those astrology books and stuff at the gym. Astronomy. Astronomy is different from astrology and from rocks and stuff. I know, I meant astronomy. I'm just saying, I shouldn't have talked to you like you didn't know what amber was. That's okay, I said. I was thinking about her touching me on my wrist. She'd touched me once before, and this time I could still feel her finger there, like a warm spot. I remembered something else I knew about amber. You know how you can tell fake amber from real amber? Amber shrugged. I learned this once. If you rub real amber with something, it'll turn electric. But plastic fake stuff that's supposed to be real doesn't feel as warm, and it doesn't feel electric. Amber leaned into the table, put her elbows on it, and then put her face on her knuckles. Bobby's real lucky you're his girlfriend, she said. She sat up straight and then pulled her feet so that she was sitting cross-legged in her chair. And I know you probably think it's weird that I would want to have coffee or lunch with you, but I think you're just beautiful. And I would love it if we could get to know each other better because I love beautiful, smart women. She took the little paper thing from around the cup that keeps you from burning your hands when you drink it, when your drink is hot, and started ripping it into little pieces, just staring at me. She was the worst about that staring, like you were a meal and she was starving. Something about her made me like her, even though she made me feel weird too. Before, I used to think it was all just silly blonde little white girl, like the one who was still talking on her cell phone a few tables over. But there was something real about Amber, even if her lips were fake. Her hair color was fake, and all kinds of parts of her body were fake. Maybe it was just that she told me I was beautiful in a tone I hadn't heard from Bobby in a month of Sundays. Or maybe it was because she said I was smart, matter of fact, without being funny about it. Believed it. Whatever it was, I felt so weird that I wanted to leave. I looked at my watch and then back at Amber, who looked sad. I shouldn't have said what I said. No, I said. What you said was really nice. Okay. No, I said. What you said was really nice. And then before I thought about it, I said, maybe we could go out sometime, get to know each other better. We laughed about some of the people at the gym for a little while. And then when she told me that she was a composer, wrote music, and who would have thought that? I took one last sip of my coffee before I stood up. I should go, though. Bobby's waiting for me back at the gym to give him a ride home. Okay. She gave me a weak smile and stood up. She came closer to me. Mind if I give you a hug before we go? I wanted to make her feel better, like things weren't weird. So I hugged her first, and I gave her a real hug. I held on for a long second. When we pulled away from each other, she gave me one of those big toothy grins. You're a good hugger, she said. That's what Bobby says, I said. She said, like Bobby who, like I give a shit. Then she turned to leave the cafe. Driving Bobby home, I was tired. It was hot. The air conditioning was busted and traffic was working my nerves almost as much as Bobby. So, okay, wait. She buys you the coffee and then you guys sit down and then what? Nothing. We just talked. In the car ahead of us, some kid, a boy it looked like, was waving at us from the back seat. I waved back. When I did, though, he gave me the middle finger. Motherfucker, I said, my voice high. I flipped the kid off. Whoa, hey, Bobby said. A kid and everything. Nice. I rolled my eyes. They ought to do something with this street. This is ridiculous. She asked you out again? What? Hold on a second. She asked you out again? What? Bobby. Come on, Bobby. Did she or didn't she? Bobby bit down on his knuckles. You should have drove, I said. Everything about everything bothered me. The kid in front of us was waving something at us now, a goddamn doll. He kept flipping me off and waving it, and Bobby kept running his mouth about the three of us fucking, and I couldn't breathe in that hot-ass Mustang anymore. Fuck! I yelled, and I banged my head on the steering wheel. Fuck! What'd I tell you? Bobby said. He thumped me hard on the thigh. What's your problem? He was wanting to know what I wanted for our anniversary. A whole year with me, sweetheart. Paradise or what, huh? Or what? All right, smartass. See, try and be nice to somebody. I'm just playing. I stood behind him and hugged him tight. Seriously, though, Bobby said, I want to do something nice for you. He turned and faced me. He kissed me on the forehead. I don't know. Maybe just a romantic dinner. Here, even. Make me something special. Just for me. I don't know how to make no chitlins or collard greens or whatever the fuck. Well, I don't want none of that weird Greek health shit you're always trying to give me. I pinched him on the side. Ow, bitch. He laughed. Okay, how about I take you out, spend a couple of bucks on you, someplace nice, and I can eat any kind of fattening thing I want without hearing about it from you. Fine, Bobby said. I'll hook you up nice, baby. Better hook me up nice. He squeezed me hard, tighter and tighter, until I screamed at him, laughing, Stop, Bobby, stop. I mean it. We went to a place kind of far from where we lived, a place that's gone now. It was Aunt Kizzy's back porch in the marina. I ordered fried chicken, collard greens, macaroni and cheese, and cornbread. Bobby tried to come between me and my macaroni and cheese, but I wouldn't let him. I was feeling good, had a buzz on from the wine we were drinking. All the planets were lined up right, even though Professor Salazar said talk like that was astrology, a world of difference from what he was trying to teach us. Happy anniversary, baby, I said. I fed him a bite. This is good, he said. How come you never make this for me? What? And here fat this and fat that? Give me a break. Well, you're right about that. You like my choice, though? A couple of people at the gym said this would be a good place. I nodded and smiled at him bright. It's good, Bobby. Really, it was just okay. You know that Jamaican place in Lehman Park? That would have been good, too. It would have been a lot better. It was in a black neighborhood where they didn't have no marinas. Never heard of it. Bobby shook his leg under the table. He was being jittery and distracted all during dinner, biting his nails, jiggling his leg, and playing with his hair. What's wrong with you? I worked on my peach cobbler. Nothing, Bobby said. He lifted our wine bottle off the table to show the waiter we needed another bottle of wine. He smiled and winked at me. Remember the time? I took a drink from my glass. That time I threw up in your bathroom? Christ, LaDonna, you got to bring that up now? He nodded at my wine glass. Better slow down with that. That was funny, though, Bobby. Almost a year ago. Can you believe it? Yeah, funny to you. I put my fork down and pushed my plate away some. Bobby took my fork and finished off my pie. That was sweet, though, Bobby. How you cleaned up everything. I leaned into the table trying to get as close to him as I could. I thought I was the luckiest woman sitting with the finest man in the whole place. I felt so close to Bobby, so happy. I was thinking he must have been feeling it way across the table, me shining everything on him. What? He said. Like I had a choice. I was smiling at Bobby before, but I stopped. What do you mean? Of course you had a choice. You think I was going to let my bathroom stay vomity? You're crazy. And if you think I'm going to let a vomity woman sleep passed out next to me, you're even more crazy. I had never thought of it like that. A cloud passed over my face. Bobby looked at me. Don't start. I looked around the restaurant and sank down in my chair. Come on, don't get mad. Come here. I sat still. Come here, Bobby said when I ignored him. He said, all right. I thought it was kind of cute, you puking all over my goddamn bathroom. The cutest, sexiest shit I ever saw. I tried not to smile at that, but Bobby could be funny sometimes. He saw me trying not to smile. Let me kiss you and then I'll tell you your surprise. I sat up straight. Hard to do after my fourth glass of wine. What surprise? I ain't gonna tell you till you kiss me. I did. Well, okay. Bobby cracked his knuckles and then he took both my hands. I got something waiting for you back home. What? What, Bobby? What is it? I got happy. Got rid of that cloud real fast. I knew it was the telescope I pointed out to Bobby one day when we were shopping. It cost a fortune to me and Bobby, but if he'd been thinking about me all this year, even a little bit, he would have been saving up for it. I dragged him into the shop and pointed it out to him, plain and obvious. He said I must have wanted to blow my teacher. That was the only reason I'd be so into the most boring shit on the planet. The fucking stripping astrologist. That's funny, Bobby had said. Astronomy, I had said. He turned down the corners of his mouth and shrugged. Whatever. But maybe he'd just been trying to throw me off the trail. You got me that telescope, didn't you? I said it like I was accusing him of something and happy to bust him. Bobby stopped grinning. What? Nah, I didn't get you any fucking telescope. This is better, way better. My heart started beating real fast and my hands started shaking. Bobby had gotten me a ring. It's a ring, I screamed. Some folks in the restaurant turned to look at us. What? A ring? Bobby said, blowing out of his nose. That's funny. Wow, he said, shaking his head. I blinked and frowned at him. I was confused. Then what? What'd you get me? Bobby looked into my eyes, serious. He glanced over his shoulder before he leaned to me as close as he could. He smiled. Okay, don't freak out. Yeah? I smiled back at him. At home? Right now? I got Amber waiting for you. Amber? I was still confused. What for? What for? Bobby said. Don't be cute. My hands were in Bobby's. I squeezed his hands as hard as I could, letting everything he was telling me try to find a place to settle in my head. You're telling me, I took a deep breath, that Amber from the gym, she's in our apartment, waiting for us, for all of us to have sex. That's right, Bobby said, hopeful, kind of holding his breath. That's your present to me, my anniversary present. I didn't know whether to cry or punch Bobby in his perfect actor face. I couldn't look him in the eye because if I was afraid I'd cry, which would have made me real pissed at myself. It's part of your present. He reached into his jacket pocket on the chair next to us. Bastard. He was just playing. He handed me a long velvet box. When I snapped it open, there was a shiny gold chain in it with a little white stone attached to it. You like it? I got you this too. It's a moonstone. I told the guy at the place what you like, and he said this you'd like. Bobby looked like he was really wanting me to like his present, but I couldn't fake it. I turned the stone over in my hand. It was beautiful and felt cool in my palm. 2? I said finally. So you're not kidding about the Amber stuff? Bobby said. I held the chain in my hands. Amber was in my apartment. Bobby asked her to be there. Or did she ask? Fuck, I shouldn't have told you, Bobby said. I should have just got you home, see what happened when you got there. You should have seen. My voice had no life in it. You're really fucking crazy, Bobby. You know that? What? You said you were down. Might try this someday. I was just playing. I wasn't for real. Then why'd you say all that stuff then? I was just half kidding. What half, Donna? Bobby was yelling. And we got Amber waiting there and everything. She's going to feel real shitty about this. I told her it would work out. I poured myself more wine, shook my head slow and careful. Bobby threw up his hands. They dropped down loud on his thighs. She's supposed to be waiting in the closet. I'm supposed to call and she's supposed to get in the closet. And when we get there, I'm supposed to put a blindfold on you, get all sexy and loose with you. And that's when we were going to surprise you. I put my head in both my hands and coughed out a laugh. Then what am I supposed to tell Amber? He asked. What do I care, Bobby? Tell her whatever you want. You did that already. She can stay in the closet all night. Bobby's eyes followed people leaving the restaurant. We got to tell her something, Donna. It ain't nice. It ain't nice, Donna, I said in a fake deep Bobby voice. You're fucking drunk, he said. He saw the waiter and then motioned for the check. And you better not get sick in the car. I fell asleep on the way home. I was full of wine and food. I felt heavy. I didn't dream about stuff, nothing at all. I stayed asleep until we got off the freeway. You always do that, stay asleep when you're riding until you get off the freeway. Something about going so fast, the sound of the air swooshing by like floating, being in a trance. But then when you feel the car slowing down, going down off the off-ramp, you feel some kind of change. Something about the ride feels different even if you're in a deep sleep, dreaming. You wake up. We were in the garage of the apartment building. The building was on Franklin. Shitty. The stucco all stained and peeling. But all the cars in the garage were nice. Hey, Bobby said. He touched me. He touched my face. You all right? You're not sick or nothing? You can get out, right? I nodded. Bobby came around and helped me out. He was trying to be nice. Didn't you say there was going to be one of those eclipses today? He put his arms around me and I walked to the elevator. It wasn't that great, I said. Bobby pushed the up button and we got in and went up. Earlier that day, I'd spent half an hour standing outside. I put a hole in a piece of paper, turned my back to the sun, and looked down on the sidewalk while all the cars sped by me on the street. I saw a little bitty shadowy thing that looked like a moon with a bright light all around the edges. It wasn't cool. It wasn't as cool as Professor Salazar said, but he said we had to see it that way with the filter and everything, or else we'd burn the shit out of our eyes. He didn't say shit, but he said we really, really didn't want to look straight at the eclipse or else we could really hurt ourselves. I wasn't drunk as I was at the restaurant. I thought of Amber waiting for me in the apartment and I thought it would be nice to see her. The elevator bell rang when we got to our floor. When we got to our apartment, Bobby put his key in the door and looked at me before he turned it. I don't care, I said, which was the truth. Being with Amber sounded better than being alone with Bobby just then. She would look at me like she really wanted me, like she knew what I was, and I wanted that. Bobby opened the door and I went to the couch. I started taking off all my clothes. Bobby too. He stood in front of me and put a scarf around my eyes. There was a little slash I could still see through, so I squeezed my eyes shut. I wasn't sure how far I was going to go, even if I was already in the middle of it anyway. I lay down on the carpet. Bobby didn't want the lights off. He wanted to be able to see everything. But me, I wasn't supposed to be able to tell when Bobby stopped touching me and when Amber started. I knew right away, though. Amber's hands were light and smooth. They moved all over my hips and breasts, between my legs. Warm, soft hands. Gentle hands that felt like liquid. Her hands were so warm I felt tingly, like I was on fire. I still had the blindfold on, but when I looked through the little slash, I saw Amber on her hands and knees between me and Bobby. Amber felt good, but she didn't come close enough to what I wanted. I wanted how Bobby used to make me feel. I wanted something bigger than me. I could sort of make out Bobby moving slow behind Amber like a shadow. You like that, sunshine? You like that? He was whispering to me, but I didn't feel like sunshine. Not like I usually did when he called me that. Bobby thought the three of us together in that room was a big, big thing that would take his mind off Louis, but he was still trapped, doing without seeing. And now there was something, somebody between us. I was in it, seeing it. Me and him and Amber wasn't half as good as he talked about it being. I was disappointed in everybody and everything. But at least I could finally see clear. And thus endeth the story. Such high expectations. I got disappointed with the story pretty much when we got to the full description of Bobby. Amber didn't help, and for me, I don't know about the rest of you all, but for me, the story was painfully predictable. Also, the story ran a lot longer than I expected it to. Way longer than I expected, to be perfectly honest. So now I am looking at the Walter Mosley story, and I'm trying to determine whether or not we'll be able to get through it within our show time. And I am not sure we will. Really misjudged the read on that one. And so I'm disappointed that a story that I didn't enjoy as much as I had hoped to, took up so much time in our showtime. I'm flipping through The Awkward Black Man to see if there's a story that is a bit shorter that we can read to kind of fill the rest of the time, and not to put too fine a point on it, to serve a little bit like a palate cleanser. I just wasn't into it. And I'm not usually that vocal or that transparent, but I mean, by the time Amber was mentioned, I knew where the story was going to end up. And by the time we got through, um, all of the description of him and his insecurity, it was pretty clear that he was going to force the issue. Dude was not cool enough to let it just happen. Um, there's there's a certain alchemy that is required to make that situation work, and especially if you plan on maintaining the relationship after the fact. And he was not possessed with that particular brand of magic, not at all. Let's see. There is a story called "Leading from the Affair" that looks like it'll be short enough for us to be able to get in some Walter Mosley. And it's a shame that it can't be the story that we had originally planned. I did see a suggestion. You know what? Nope. I just looked at the first line of it. I don't want to do that one. I saw a suggestion of maybe some simple, and I think that would do me some good, but I'm not in this alone. How y'all feel? Let me take a minute to hold on, brighten that up a little bit. Let's take a minute. I want to get some feedback from you all. I was maybe a little bit premature with my assessment of the story, but what did y'all think? There was a lot. Let's see. Hold on. Let's go ahead and bring something up here. That was just one of many stories in this book, and we always give our authors a couple of shots. So we will come back to In the Not Quite Dark, and we will try another one of the stories. We'll give it another shot. We're going to probably put a pause on The Awkward Black Man for tonight, and I think what we're going to do is read some simple. So I've got to head over to the bookshelf. Let me go ahead and I'm going to switch this up so you've got that information. And if you'll be patient with me for just a moment, I will be right back. I got back to see the comments, and let's see. And then that, and also this, and then that, and then this. But the one that made me chortle, like, really, Latricia? Really? Really? Is this who you want to be in this, the year of our Lord 2020? All right, it is time for another story from Simple. And we're just reading these in order. So I'm going to make sure. Let's see. Did we do this one? Yeah, we did the one about Adam and Eve because that one was dope. That one was definitely dope. All right. So coming from The Best of Simple by Langston Hughes, we are going to read Wooing the Muse. Yo, I didn't know if y'all knew this, but I got to show you this. This was a gift. Yo, check this out. Every time I read from the Simple book with Langston Hughes, check out my bookmark. Wait, where is that? That's the bookmark that I use for this book specifically. It has its home right here. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to cut off this banner. Bloop, bloop. And we're just going to take it back to so I can see all the wonderful things that y'all say. Wooing the Muse. Hey now, said Simple one hot Monday morning. Man, I had a fine weekend. What did you do? Me and Joyce went to the Orchard Beach. Good bathing? I don't know. I did not take a bath. I don't take to cold water. What did you do then? Just lie in the sun? I did not, said Simple. I don't like the violent rays tampering with my complexion. I just laid back in the shade while Joyce sported on the beach, wetting her toes to show off her pretty white bathing suit. In other words, you relaxed. Relaxed is right, said Simple. I had myself a great big, nice, cool quarter beer. So I just laid back in the shade and relaxed. I also wrote myself some poetries. Wait a minute, hold on. We read this one already. We read this one already because of the poetries. Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. I had my bookmark in the wrong place. So the one that we're reading today is called Vacation. What's on the rail for the lizard this morning? My friend Simple demanded about 1 a.m. at 125th and Lenox. Where have you been all week? I countered, looking at the dark circles under his eyes. On my vacation at last, said Simple. You look it. You appear utterly fatigued. A vacation will tire a man out worse than work, said Simple. Where did you go? Saratoga. After the season was over and the race is down. What did you do up there? Got bug-eyed. You mean drank liquor? I inquired. I did not drink water, said Simple. I thought people went to Saratoga Springs to drink water. Some do, some don't, said Simple, depending on if you are thirsty or not. But there is no water on Congress Street, nothing but bars, Jimmy's, Goldie's, Hilltop House. Man, I had myself a ball. I was wild and frantic as a Halloween pumpkin, drinking cool keggy and knocking myself out. I met some fine chicks, too. The first night I was there, one big fat mellow dame, looking all sweet and sweetened, started making admiration over me. I would not tell you a word of lie. She wanted to latch on to me for life. Well, where was Joyce? You know I did not take Joyce with me on no vacation, said Simple. I left her in Harlem. Her vacation and mine does not come at the same time anyhow, and we do not go to the same places. Joyce is a quiet girl. But this old girl I met in Saratoga, oh boy, we were sitting at the bar. She started jitterbugging right on the stool, so I introduced myself. She said, baby, play that piece again, which I did. Then she said, play the Hucklebuck about 6 times, which I also did. So that's where your money went, I said. Right over the bar and down the jukebox. That's where it went, said Simple. But it were worth it. This old gal looked like chocolate icing on a wagon wheel cake, partner. And I met another one looked like lemon meringue on a sundae pie. Between the two of them, I had a ball. But I come back to Harlem a week early because my money ran out. When I got home, first thing I did was go see Joyce. She said, baby, how come you back so soon? I said, sugar, I wanted to see you. And don't you know Joyce believed me? Women's is simple. Joyce said, you sure do look tired. I said, it's from just a wearying for you, honey. I can't stay away from you a week at a time no more without it worries me. Joyce said, I thought you would come back here looking all spruce and spry from drinking that sulfur water, baby. But I told her, that water did not agree with me. Neither did that Saratoga food. Honey, you know the best thing about vacation is coming home. When are you going to make some biscuits? Man, don't you know Joyce went right out in the kitchen and made me some bread? I was hungry too. Funny how fast your money can run on a vacation, especially when you're spending it on two women, I said. You've got to learn to change your character and budget both your money and your pleasure. God gave me this character, said Simple. In his own good time, he will change it. You know that old saying. A bobtail dog can't walk a log, neither can an elephant hop like a frog. My character is my character. It cannot change. It's certainly true that nobody can make a silk purse out of a sow's ear, I said. And who wants to? Asked Simple. And thus ended the story. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the previous story, the one that I said before, the one that I said we had read before, I'm going to read you the last part of it, and I bet you'll remember. When I get to be 91 and my running days is done, then I will do better. When I get to be 92 and just can't do, I'll do better. When I get to be 93, if the women's don't love me, then I must do better. When I get to be 94 and cannot jive no more, I'll have to do better. When I get to be 95, more dead than alive, it'll be necessary to do better. When I get to be 96 and don't know no more tricks, I reckon I'll do better. When I get to be 97 and on my way to heaven, I'll try and do better. When I get to be 98 and see St. Peter at the gate, I know I'll do better. When I get to be 99, remembering it were fine, then I'll do better. But even when I'm 101, if I am still having fun, I'll start all over again just like I begun. Because what could be better? So I figured if I read y'all that part, you would remember having heard this story before. Let me check the time on the wall. It's 11:08. Y'all, I want to do one more just for me. If y'all want to sit and listen and share with it, y'all sure can. This one is letting off steam. Wintertime in Harlem sure is a blip, Simple complained. I have already drunk 4 beers and 1 whiskey, and I am not warm yet. Your blood must be thin, I said. Thin nothing. It's just cold out there. I do not like cold. Never did, never will. No place, no time. Well, what are you doing out in this weather if you're so cold-natured? Why didn't you stay home? Man, this bar is the warmest place I know. At least they keep the steam up here. You mean to tell me you haven't got any steam in your room? There's a radiator in my room, said Simple, but my landlady don't send up no steam. I beat on the radiator pipes to let her know I was home and freezing. And what happened? Nothing. She just beat back on the pipes at me. I tell you, winter is a worryation. I don't like cold either, I said, but mortal man can do very little about the weather. Of course, one could be rich and go to Florida. You couldn't give me Florida and all that Jim Crow on a silver platter. But if these women keep after me, I am liable to have to go somewhere. And what's the matter now? I asked. My wife writ me from Baltimore that if I don't buy her that divorce she's been wanting for 7 years, she is going to get herself a new fur coat and charge it to me. She says I better pay for it or else. And Joyce has been hinting around lately that she needs a silver fox, and she ain't even married to me yet. Here I am going around wearing my pre-war Chesterfield and can't get a new coat for myself. I ain't even got no rubbers for this snow. You love Joyce, don't you? So I know you wouldn't want to see her freeze. Freeze nothing, said Simple. If Joyce would put on some long underwear and drop them skirts down some more and wrap up her neck, she would be warm without a fur coat. Also, if she would stop wearing open work shoes. Women don't wear enough clothes. Do you want your best girl to look like somebody's grandma? I don't want her to catch pneumonia, said Simple, but I ain't gonna buy her no fur coat. A fur coat would have made a nice gift for Christmas. By the way, what did you give Joyce? A genuine pressure cooker roasting oven to cook chicken since I like 'em. It cost me $15 too. But when I was back in the kitchen Christmas Eve mixing drinks, she came in and gave me one of them cold roll your eyes looks and said real sweet like, it's just what I always wanted, except that I've got too many cooking utensils now to be just rooming. And that cute little fur jacket I showed you last week would have looked so nice on me. What did Joyce give you for Christmas? I asked. A carton of her favorite brand of cigarettes. Ain't that just like a woman? Then she come wanting a fur coat. Well, even dogs have fur coats. I see in the paper where downtown stores advertising fur wrappers, especially for dogs, priced up to $2,000. If someone would pay that much for a fur coat for a dog, it looks like you might consider one for Joyce. Man, the rich peoples that buy them expensive dog jackets have paid $2,000 for their dog in the first place. To have a fur coat like that, the dog is bound to be a thoroughbred pedigreed canine dog. They ain't buying fur wraparounds for no mutt. They got their investment to protect. But Joyce ain't cost me nothing. Money couldn't buy that girl. I met her on the Negro Actors Guild public boat ride when the moon was shining over Bear Mountain. She just floated into my life, free, and took up with me for the sake of love. So you would value a dog more than the woman who is your friend. I do not have a dog. And if I did, as sure as my name is just Simple, I would not buy it no fur coat. A dog has its own fur. And unless Joyce raises herself some foxes, she will not get any neither. I won't buy a human nor a dog a fur coat this winter. Why don't you just say you can't buy her a fur coat? You have hit the nail on the head. I have just cash enough for one more beer. You have that glass on me. No thanks. Then I will have a bottle on you, said Simple, before I go out in the cold. The Lord should have fixed it so humans can grow fur in the wintertime instead of buying it. Hey, bud, bottle of bud. And thus ended the story. Simple ain't shit at all, but Simple consistently cracks me up. Drop them skirts. If she would just drop her skirts a little and wear some long underwear. Really, the ain't shitness person. But trifling is somehow charming on this particular character. Thanks for sitting with me a little bit while we read a little bit from The Best of Simple by Langston Hughes. Now, that was not a part of today's scheduled read. So what we're going to do is Thursday, we're going to pick up The Awkward Black Man by Walter Mosley. We're going to read that scheduled story. Then I will change the title on this entry so that everybody has an opportunity to, if you didn't get a chance to check it out live, when you go looking for it on YouTube, or even on what is it? What's that bull crap that Twitter has? Periscope. Even on Periscope, I want you to find the right thing. Worryation was a great word. Worryation. I like that one. And Kamisha Umstead, thank you so much. I always look forward to that. And that is pretty much it. L Jack, I see your comment. I am not putting that comment on the screen. No, sir. What happens in the after story stays in the after story, good sir. Speaking of which, the after story will be convening right after this as we close up shop. Thank you so much for coming out to Storytime with Julian. It has been my pleasure to read to you. I hope that you enjoyed the stories or the reading. If you didn't particularly enjoy the story, we're going to try again on Thursday, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of the night. And here come the credits.